Hi, everyone, and welcome to this week's Crush It in Sales podcast. Thank you in advance for joining me. My name is Melinda Van Fleet, and I'm a professional sales and leadership coach. And I'm so excited that you joined me today. Today, we're going to wrap up the 3-part podcast series on time management, which I actually prefer calling time maximization. So if you have been listening, episode 138 was about being complacent, being comfortable. Episode 139 was about distractions. Other words are delays or creative avoidance. And then this week, I want to talk about focus, which piggybacks on distraction, but it's just another level that I think that being aware and being consciously aware and really having like extreme discipline around is super, super important. And there are several ways that you can, skin this one, but I'm just going to share briefly about my experience that I've had and that I've made as a discipline in prepping for speaking engagements. So if you have been following me, you know I kind of kicked off my coaching and speaking and writing back in 2019, early part of 2019. And what I have realized for myself, and granted I'm 51, so a lot of work has gone into that realization, but I'm sharing. So if you're not at this place, you can start to do work around this to figure out what works for you, is that I really have to buckle in on a big task when I'm working on a big task. I am not good at splitting my focus. I'm really not. So it's kind of like next level after distractions. So distractions could be like little things throughout your day that we talked about last week. But when you're working towards like a big goal, a big objective, it really needs that hardcore focus. And so what I have learned is when I go to prep for a speaking gig, I have to pretty much clear off my plate anything that's really not urgent or in relation to another person, like a coaching client, for example, or something to do with the charter business, or just something to do in general, like take care of my dogs. I should still take care of them. But other things just tend to get put to the side. It's not that I forget about them. It's not that I don't care about them, but I put them to the side. I'm really good at making lists. I truly believe in making lists, lots of lists, and I put it to the side. So last week, I was prepping for a workshop that I was holding, a complimentary workshop that I was holding here in the Keys. And I needed to really focus on learning that content and then intermixing my own vibe within that content, let's say, and then try to hit a certain time and, really try to get across, a really great positive energy because I'm excited to share what I've been sharing lately. And, whenever you're learning something new, you also have to realize that it may take you more time to do that, right? And then once you get it down at least once, then it's going to be less time. Of course, you're going to have tweaks and hindsights and learnings along the way. But in general, the first time is really crucial that you have time blocked on your calendar, the time to do that and get rid of, for the time being, I know I'm using the word time a lot in this podcast, other things that, maybe aren't that crucial for that moment. No one's going to think you flaked out on them or anything like that. It's just things you can just put to the side. And some people are excellent at doing this. I even feel the effects of things. I'm like, oh, she didn't get back to me or he didn't get back to me. And then you realize all they have going on and you kind of go, oh yeah, now I get it. I get why they have this and that and this and that. So some people are great at it and some people are not. And what happens then is a couple things. If you're not good at doing that and really separating and drawing some boundaries and getting okay with that, you have to be okay with that at an energetic level. What ends up happening is, number one, you can become extremely overwhelmed extremely overwhelmed. Often when I have a conversation with someone about being overwhelmed, it's just as simple as that. It's just as simple as, okay, what is your main focus this week? What are the things that you can't ignore, you still have to do? And then what are things that can just be put on a list for like later this month? Like, it's okay. Like, the world's not going to stop. Things will still happen. And really, working through that. And then they're like, oh gosh, I feel so much better. And it's true. It's true. You just feel so much better. Like, okay, I can sleep tonight. I got this accomplished. And then you can, pick up on what it was that you put off when you're done with the main thing. So for me, Sienna, my niece, who podcasts with me on the Good Karma Success Coach podcast, she and I are going to start writing a book together. So yes, I'm excited to get started writing it, but I knew I needed to get through this first workshop to kind of get comfortable before I start then working on the book, because the book will take up, some time for me on the weekends. And I was practicing hardcore on the weekends. So just, if you're in this space of like, oh, I've got all these projects and this is what's going on, look at your calendar. Like, just look at your calendar with a piece of paper and a pen, or if you use like Outlook calendar or Google Calendar, like sit down and get quiet and like look at it and go, this can wait. This can wait a couple weeks, and I can then spend that extra hour or two on the thing that's the main focus. In conjunction with that, that's just kind of how life works, where your focus goes, your energy flows, and all those sayings that you've heard before. Like, we've all heard those before. It really just works like that. It just gives like the universe a place to go, like direction, and you're making sure that all your action is being focused in that place. Like, it just works like that. Instead of being all over the board and you're like, what's that person doing? And at the end of the day, they're just spinning their wheels and they don't get anything accomplished. And quite frankly, I see this all the time. Like, I actually see it on social media. I see like, okay, what are they doing? Like, it's okay to be multi-passionate, but this is like an extreme. So look at what you have as your to-dos. And if you're not making a to-do list, oh my gosh, please, 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 you have to make some type of to-do list or agenda or time management calendar or something to make sure your hours are spent productively. That's just 101. But, really deep dive and go, okay, this serves me today and is sending me on an energetic path towards being a great speaker, holding great workshops, signing up clients, like that's the goal, or not, like, or I'm over here and then I'm over there and then I'm doing this and then I'm doing that and I'm all confused and then I'm overwhelmed and nothing's getting done and then I'm exhausted and then you get sick and then you get back pains and then you get neck pains and I get an eye twitch, right? So that's what happens. Like, if you're not managing your schedule, if you're not like literally looking at your schedule and going, okay, this is what I need to focus on, and these things can just go away. And it sounds really simple. It is really simple for some people. And this goes back to human design. Like, this may be in your chart that you can power through these things, or it may be something where it's an opportunity to learn. So, and if it's an opportunity to learn and you need a little help, I mean, that's where it's great to have a one-on-one coach or someone to help you hold yourself accountable to getting through these things. Because let me tell you, it will just help you feel better. You will feel so much better if you can just do the work around that and come up with some type of schedule or strategy to get your big projects done. This goes for book writing, as I already mentioned, speaking, any type of project. Let's say you're trying to build a website. Like, that's a huge time that you need to focus. I mean, we all have, projects, things that we put on our goal list. But, when I hear that someone's been working on like a book for 3 years, I'm kind of like, well, when are you working on it, right? Like, when are you working on it? Maybe you're okay with it taking 3 years. That's fine. But if you're like, no, I really want to get this done, then, sit down, edit some other things from your calendar and focus on the book. That's how I did both of my books last year. I made sure my calendar was in a great place to focus on those things. Those things get done on the weekends. And I did it. I knocked it out and I did it. So I hope you really take this podcast to heart if you're someone who's really struggling with, just getting something done, getting a big goal or objective done and accomplished in 2022 or even in the future, because that's what you have to do. You have to clear out your schedule from some other things and just put them aside or eliminate them or delegate them. Those are possibilities too, right? So it could be something that you delegate, or you just say, you know what, this really isn't important. I'm taking this off my list. So I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear what you're working on for the balance of this year. Oh gosh, there's just so many things that we all can be doing in our business and even in our life. It might be a home project, might be something like that. It might be something with your family. Maybe you're trying to teach your children something like another language, or I've seen lots of kids doing karate. That's so cute. So maybe you're trying to focus more on, extracurricular activities with your kids. So yeah, other things need to go. Other things need to be edited from your schedule so you can focus. So I will put my link to Southwestern in the show notes. Please reach out to me if you have a sales team of 3 or more people so we can schedule a complimentary and customized workshop, or just reach out to me for one-on-one coaching. I would love that. We can have a discussion and see if it's a good fit for you. Please feel free to follow me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, or Instagram. And until next week, thank you so much for listening, and I hope you crush it in sales.